Hello friends, welcome back to paneling. We're just going to keep plugging away at this. I'm in the part of One Piece now where you kind of learn more about the history of Doflamingo. And man, it's really interesting. Just say Dressrosa spoilers. We haven't gotten to Dressrosa yet, or you haven't finished Dressrosa yet. Like I have not finished it, but I've done a good bit of it at this point. But Doflamingo's backstory, I don't think it's supposed to make him more sympathetic, which is good because it doesn't. He's got a real oh poor little rich boy backstory. And kind of just the idea that it's not like he was born good and somebody made him bad. It's like he was born bad and they made him worse. So I do want to, I'm going to want to cut off the top of what I'm doing here at some point. And you know, a long time ago, I had this panel. And that's, it ends up being pretty close to... If you, hit the control key, you can morph this okay, that's pretty good. Now, there's not a bounding box on Oda's version. It's the entire bottom half of the page. I'm going to do a bounding box just because, I don't know, I feel like it. Sometimes I don't need a better reason. It's just, whatever, I feel. Let's just work with it. That looks so much cleaner and more finished, just with that little bit of like cropping down to the size of the panel. Not bad. I kind of love when you do that. Just when you chop away the ragged edges, and it does a ton to spice it up. Alright, so kind of going through now and thinking about his feathers. I want Doflamingo's coat, as Kevin Mann would say, just for around the house like. I don't even say that necessarily looks comfortable. I just want to project that aura of strength. That way, when the salesmen come to my door and I tell them I'm not interested, they'll really believe me. I can't believe how much I'm thinking about Mike Mignola as I'm doing this. In terms of people who are considered to be like the master of, solid black shadows and heavy inks, Mignola I think always comes to the fore. But damn, Oda, if you're not like kind of stealth getting in there, because there's a lot going on with this coat, and it's a really complex shape. And some of my sins are going to be forgiven by doing the lettering over this, but like the overlap of the feathers, the volume of each of the feathers, the understanding that the artist has, and to do it in stark black and white is impressive. The thing I always want to encourage is like the more foundational understanding you have, the more knowledge of the object that you have, the more time you spend learning about shapes and the ways that they can interact, the better that your art is going to be, the better that your costumes and characters are going to look. Talk about Christine Larson again for a second. I don't remember what series I talked about Larson and talking about this topic specifically, but it was on the subject of inks and colors, and it was like, she said that the more work you put in on your inks, the less work you're going to have to do on your colors. And that's kind of true of like every step of the process, right? The more work you do at the pencil stage, the less work you're going to have to do at the ink stage. The more work you do with your inks, the less work you're going to have to do with your colors. I kind of live in this I have this dream, because this is one of those things where it's like, if I'm known for anything in comics, it's probably coloring, right? That being said, coloring for me takes the longest and is one of the most tedious parts of the process. So, as someone who strives to be a cartoonist, I really want to, do all the jobs, and I really want to live in a world where by the time I get to the coloring stage, the only thing that's really left to do is like drop in flats, and everything else just the magic carries the rest of it. And I've shown you that in some of my other series, right? Where we do the inks, and then we do so much work with toning and rendering and light levels before we even talk about hue. Because I feel like that's rendering and light are so much more crucial to someone's understanding of the piece than hue is. Just because of how bad I am at like distinguishing between hues too. I looked at this big sheet the other day of like hues, and I was like, 60% of that is the same freaking thing. And most of those oranges are brown. There's, the reason I color the way I do, in my sort of Lisa Frank Frazetta way, it's because it stands out to me and it has impacted me. Me specifically, when I tell you that, it's your job to be your own fan first, I don't just mean subject matter, and I don't just mean script writing. I'm talking about every step of what you do. Decent. Make that thumb longer. So, that's what would have happened if I invented the thing longer. I can't believe that Futurama is still hanging around. Old school Futurama was like my favorite show. I tried to like the new episodes, but I just couldn't deal. When they came back the first time on Comedy Central, I was there for that, and they had one joke in that first show where it was like, the joke being that they were supposed to have died at the end of the Fox run, and they showed up out of some cosmic channel, and Farnsworth was like, "We're on some kind of Comedy Central channel, and we're on it." And it was like, "Oh ha," a little meta humor, and then the Hulu run started. The entire first freaking episode was about them being on Hulu, and I'm like, I just don't care or want to do this again. But a lot of my favorite voice actors on that show, I love Billy West, Katie Seagal, John DiMaggio, especially, and the drama surrounding that of ooh, is John DiMaggio not going to be there? And it's if John DiMaggio's not there, I'm definitely not there, because okay, here's a problem. Every time I do this, it's okay, you F something up. What did you F up and why? I got the shape of the clouds wrong. And the reason was because I was just trying to copy it over detail for detail without really having any kind of concept of the manga panel. Without having any concept of what the shape of the cloud was. Just kind of, trying to copy it over only in details. And so it's circles, right? But they're smaller than this. Really kind of tiny. Think about it in comparison to the nose, right? And there is a certain degree with some of the background stuff where I'll just say, we're going for the spirit, not the glitter. but I at least want to hit some kind of the major ones here. This is great. Minimalist background, right? That still communicates what's going on. Doflamingo, of course, user of the string fruit. Just not super duper well addressed, at least in the parts of the comic that I've read so far. But he can use the strings to fly across the ocean like Spider-Man, like he's doing here. He can create a decoy double of himself out of string. Okay. He can use the strings to slash people. Like, alright. You can use the strings to tie people up. I don't know if he's made of string or if he creates string. I guess he's probably made of string, right? I've been reading One Piece for a long time now, and I still don't 100% understand how devil fruit powers always work. Hey, feel free to correct me in the comments. Thank you for joining me today, and tomorrow we're going to keep going on with this. Alright, stick around for the plug. We'll see you then.